Hello chaps, it's turn 77 and I'm going to be talking directly into the microphone for this turn because I'm recording this at 3 AM and I don't want to wake anyone up. So it might sound a bit strange. Please don't turn this into an ASMR video. So yes, it's been a few weeks since the last turn, and both Pan and Mechane have been subbed out. Pan got fed up with the game, and Mechane just disappeared entirely. And things are looking pretty good for us. I'll give you I'll go through the messages first. I've played this turn as always. So our Mind Hunts in our cap circle, 2 of them failed to kill Kore, whoever that is. We resisted a Mind Hunt of our own. Mechane has cast Gift of Health. So Mechane is in a very, very strong position in terms of globals. And they do have two thrones. So they are definitely in contention for winning the game. We managed to kill Rage Tusk, but I haven't got round to checking the previous video to see if that's the name of the Archdevil assassin that we wanted to kill. We're just moving this guy around. It's just one of our throne mages. We're summoning Denavas as usual and another Flame Spirit because we have so many fire gems. Let's see. The blood hunting this turn added up to 193, however we once again exceeded the amount of patrolling that we had, so we're not going to gather anything like that much next turn. Also, I've decided to restrict my blood hunting to only one blood hunter in capitals, high income provinces like capitals. This was a horror mark attack. She wasn't holding any items, so nothing particularly important to that. Yeah, well, this is just a scouting attack. This Geisha was feeble-minded. This is just a taking back a province from independence. This is just a raid. This is a raid against us. This, one of our a couple of Markata scouts died, which is annoying. It's another PD raid. And this is another raid. So I'll play this battle for you, and I won't narrate. I'll tell you what really went on in this battle. Basically, they cast Grip of Winter, but the province was on neutral heat scales, so it didn't really work at all. And I think that even if it had been fully Cold 3, that Grip of Winter probably wouldn't have knocked all our people out quickly enough to cause us serious harm. Additionally, Heat Aura, I guess it wouldn't have done much in Cold 3, but we have 2 of those imp summoning items, the auto-summon imps, and the imps wouldn't be fatigued when they came out. So even in Cold 3, this battle might have been won. And I did actually gear this guy up. Although he didn't have any cold resistance, I definitely should have some cold resistance items actually. Looking at this, it would be wise to have. That guy's really fatigued. The mages are all fatigued out, so they all die. So this battle was about 2,000 gold down for Niflheim, for not that much, like 2 Ezrappers and some Solus on our part. So a crushing victory for us, and Niflheim is small, so they can't really afford these losses. I might actually invade Niflheim at some point. Fairly soon, we will see. yeah, I lost 2,000 people to Blood Vortex, 300 people in this province, 150 in this province, 80 in this province, and 3,000 in this province. So that was very annoying. Barbarian attack also on the same province that lost 3,000. We finished the fortress here, and that's nice because now we can make one of those Jade Priestesses that can cast Foul Vapours. We can make them every turn. They're also our only water mages. I need to remember that. This is Barbarians, it doesn't matter. This is us. Over, well, you can see where it is on the map if you remember. This fortress contained a lot of Amis, and given that they're not in any of these provinces, they're probably all still inside. And we're going to start out this battle by casting Mass Flight, so I think all of the Amis are going to get crushed. Another thing to consider is that... what am I going to say? Another thing to consider is that if they're casting a lot of Soul Slay, they probably won't kill the Mandeha. Firstly, it's got the Amulet of Anti-Magic, and secondly, the Danavas actually have more HP, so they will be targeted first. And I'm about to load up the next turn and find out how this battle went. We had some raids elsewhere. We conquered this one, I guess. What happened here? Yeah, so just a couple of fire Amis and some residual long dead. So Hinnom is planning his next move. I believe Hinnom intends to use super combatants against me, because I saw him post that on the Discord. Now you can definitely theoretically come up with highly geared Melkarts that will destroy these guys. What I'm fairly certain it's impossible to do is find anything that can survive this. I think that's unbeatable. Except with, not by single super combatants. They'll just get chopped to pieces. So yeah, our prognosis was our blood income's kind of nice, but we still need to get a lot more patrolling forces. One moral of the story of this turn was that our patrolling forces, we just don't have them. It takes a while to build up souls. It takes a lot of gems to cast Call of the Winds. If we cast Wolves, that will be quite slow as well, quite gem intensive. I probably should be casting a lot more Wolves, to be honest. So our blood hunting income is definitely threatened by raiding and the lack of options for actually doing it. Another thing is that when I load up the next turn, I'm sure my blood slave income will be far less than 193, probably more like 100. However, the gold that I'll have will probably be much higher because I have significantly drawn down the blood hunting in my capital cities, and that will allow us to gain a lot more. Another thing that happened is Atlantis has posted in the Discord saying, wow, Lanka is definitely in a position to win the game. And, he was impressed by Hinnom complaining about that. So I will attack him. And Therados said, I'll just have a thug off against Pan. But he may change his mind and attack me. Niflheim we've just dealt with, really. But I think I was expecting this fortress to fall. The Pan sub actually says that he's going to be peaceful towards me, and I believe him for the time being. He says he'll even give me a little warning if he attacks me, so that's very nice of him. Not a formal NAP though, so I don't have to fight Pan, but I probably will have to fight Atlantis. I expected him to move over here immediately and take this province. Instead, this force has just sat right here, and we've actually had some time to summon some new demons to restore our forces a little bit. Oh, and incidentally, part of why Pan subbed out is that he saw me parking 70 Rakshasas on the border here that were completely illusory, so that's quite amusing. And now we've moved this illusion over to here. Although maybe it would be a bit ridiculous to have an illusion there and not actually attack. Oh well, it'll look good for Atlantis. Atlantis will be impressed that I have them sitting there. I'm summoning some demons here, so if he does attack here next turn, I'll be able to attack him next turn. Alternatively, if he attacks it but the wall isn't breached, I'll then be able to move there, and with these guys, a couple of guys moving here, they will all be able to summon some Rakshasa warriors, and I'll really go crazy with the force of demons I have down here. So we'll have more gold but less blood slaves next turn. I'm also casting a lot of sight-searching spells now into these provinces. And that is turn 77. I'm not really sure what there is to say. I'll just give you a little overview of the globals. So Atlantis has a very good global for thugging out Basalt Kings, which really doesn't affect me because there is no item that protects Basalt Kings from Leech and Life for a Life, so they're screwed. So this doesn't matter. Theridos has Mother Oak, which is nice, but it's only Mother Oak. Hinnom has Riches from Beneath, which definitely helps them make Rephite warriors. And they have Blood Vortex, it's a very useful way for them to make some Sayarim or whatever. I guess they're making Archdevil Assassins instead. Definitely useful. But of course, Mechane has Eternal Pyre, Earthblood Deepwell, and Gift of Health, which is just incredible. I thought this actually gave you bonus gold as well. Doesn't say anything here about it. But double HP potentially, or plus 50% HP on the borders. It's very, very strong. Oh, and another thing is that our Dominion is going to be pushing a bit. It's actually quite disappointing that there's 3 enemy candles here. I think we fell down actually to 3 here. And they still have plenty of Dominion in these locations. So, and only 2 here, but we're building another temple here. And we might even be able to claw our way towards 10 Dominion strength with 20 temples. I think I've got Hinnom beaten. I think if Theridos attacks me, I'll be able to react in time. Pan, well, the original player subbed out because he felt he couldn't keep up with me. Niflheim, very weak. Atlantis has a huge number of living pillars. This is at least 200 living pillars. Possibly 300. Possibly 350. And the thing to consider about that is he took a larger bless. His bless includes larger, so they're actually size 4. So there's only one of them on each combat square. So in a melee against Rakshasa warriors, I really think they get completely destroyed. We will find out, but I think they're much weaker than my troops, and the buffs that I will have in battle will be mass regen, fog warriors. I'll have Will of the Fates from these guys and some Sabbath slaves. I'll even have Army of Gold when I finally research Alteration 9, which will happen in 3 turns. So basically what I'm saying is, I've got everyone's number. I can deal with all of my neighbours individually. If Pan and Theridos attack me, and if Niflheim comes up with something new that's very strong, then... Or if Atlantis has a lot of evocations. Atlantis actually really did a lot of damage to me in the last battle because their mages were able to spam cleansing waters. So water magic might actually be very strong. I will have to not get complacent. I might have to summon some reinforcements. We'll see. We'll see if Atlantis is tough. They might be very, very tough to defeat. Although I am confident. And that is truly the end of turn 77. This video is probably a bit longer than the average, but that's fine because there was a big delay in the game, so I just wanted to make sure that I know what's going on and you know what's going on after that several weeks of delay. So that's the end of turn 77. Hello chaps. It's turn 78 and Theridos has staled for the second time in a row and the player has gone absent without leave on Discord, so it looks like the game in real life will be stalled once again for probably a week. Oh, and someone else went on holiday. But of course that doesn't matter much for someone who's watching these videos. In any case, let's go through the messages to start off with. So we cast some site searching, which failed. Cast Mind Hunt on a province that didn't have any enemies in it. Summon some demons, another failed site search. This is quite good. So we got some, these two together give us 2 water gems and 1 earth gem, so that's quite nice. And yeah, casting some more spells with no results. We cast 2 sets of Call of the Winds right down in the corner next to Mashaka for obviously Blood Hunt patrolling. And nothing terribly interesting in this part of the messages. Now this is I'm glad I actually read this properly. Azazel the Grigori, I'm just going to call it up in the online Dominions 5 Inspector. Azazel the Grigori is a Blood 9 summon. Let's have a look. Got Azazel. Oh, come on. Where's Azazel? Right. Azazel the Grigori can also be summoned by a middle-aged Ind, interestingly. He has 3 fire, 2 earth, 4 astral, 5 blood. He's holy 4, invulnerability 35, fear 15, resist shock 15, resist poison 15, resist fire 20, 60 stealth, damage reversal +2, and he can capture commanders with some sort of weird special ability. Oh, and he's of course a flying titan with 38 map move, 88 HP, and some unique gear. The Dawn armor is just typical nice armor, slightly better than armor of knights, and the first sword is a double-handed sword that gives him +7 to attack and defense, and of course 21 damage on top of his 21 strength. Yeah, so this guy is brutal. This turn we managed to kill 5 demon lords and similar things from Hinnom, but Azazel is going to be on a whole different level, I think. Our blood hunting was pretty low. This adds up to 99, which is only slightly more than half of what we had the previous turn, which was 193. However, partly because of the reduced blood hunting, our income is now the record highest that it's ever been at this game, so that's nice. We had some assassination attempts, and they went disastrously wrong for Hinnom. So this guy costs at least 100 blood slaves to summon, I can't remember. And they've got some items on him. They've got the flambeau, the dragon helmet, the heart of quickness, and a shade mail, which is definitely not cheap either. So he costs, for some reason he has blood 9 to summon Azazel, but he doesn't have. He's not casting the spell that lets you do Phoenix Pyre. He's not doing Phoenix Pyre. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't work on demons. Anyway, this guy, because of the Heart of Quickness, no, the Heart of the Black Heart. No, right. This one gives you poison vulnerability, so he actually dies to Swarm. And this Rakshasa warrior bodyguard gets in some good hits as well. But mostly he dies to Swarm, I think, which is quite embarrassing. This battle was slightly different. I don't think this one had... Oh yeah, so this time we had a bottle of living water on us, and I think the water elemental manages to mostly demolish this guy by itself. Phoenix Power again, and he's got a Holy Scourge and a Black Heart. As you can see, that in one round, mostly dead. And then this guy comes along and hits him for 33 damage. So yeah, that guy was over. We didn't even need the Rakshasi, who's, I think, the Death 5 Rakshasi. She didn't really need to cast anything at all. This is just a raid. This is just a raid, but it let us look at Atlantis' forces. But I'll talk about that later. For now, I'll just talk about Hinnom. So they attacked us with this Heliophagus. Possibly just to gem burn me in preparation for the proper battle. Because I was storming the fortress this turn. Darkness gets cast by the Lanka. Do these guys have dark power? They do. Quite a good choice. Where's he gone? Where's he gone? Okay, he's right in front. And his protection is not that high, so he actually gets obliterated by these guys. Interesting. And skip through some... That's a bit embarrassing. We'll skip through some other stuff because I want to talk about the... So now we went in and we stormed the fort. So we've already killed 3 archdevils slash archdemons or whatever they're called. So as you can see, you've got these guys. I'm not even sure what they're doing, but you've got this guy who's reasonably geared, and then you've got this guy who is very, very heavily geared. And basically the battle was... This battle was pretty easy for us. This battle was pretty easy for us because we did have enough spells, despite the ones that... despite all the gem burning, we still got a few big spells off, so that we won the overall battle. It's also interesting to note that he had these 2 telestic animates, and they must have been spreading their dominion. Possibly they were there originally to deal with Therodos's pop kill dominion. So at this point the battle is basically over, except for this guy, the Heliophagus, and he sits around in the middle of these Rakshasa warriors for a very long time. And they have plenty of damage and attack skill, and he doesn't have any defense skill. He does get some repels in with this, but more importantly, his protection is quite high, and he gets an awful lot of life drain off the Hellsword. You can see it's all. You can see how it's all of these little buttons right here, not buttons, numbers. And I'm surprised actually that I guess this guy is fatigued out. Why are they so fatigued? There's no... Okay, then they rout, which will reduce their attack skill. And this guy is over his max health because of all the life drain from the sword. And the sound of people dying is just Solus and wolves dying to heat aura, so that doesn't matter. But it takes a very long time. Now you may have noticed the 50 there. So that was a drain life from Kreia. You can see a plus 25 on her, so it really was 50 damage, which was a very high exploding roll there. Kreia is a great character from Knights of the Old Republic 2, KOTOR 2, so do check out that. And without her, I think we would have actually lost this battle. Fortunately, though, I had one mage in range with enough death magic to cast this, because Death 2 can't really cast anything useful here. Death 1 can't. Mandeha is only Death 3, and maybe he's a bit far away as well. He's casting Smite Demon or something. I don't know what he's casting. What's his name? Van Vujin or something. But the thing about Drain Life is it's like Leech. It does not have an MR check. It hits every time. And it takes an awfully long time, but eventually Drain Life kills this guy. And he is berserked. He's berserked, so he'll never run away. And it made me wonder why he has these items. Like, doubling up on these two gives you very, very high attack skill, which is certainly useful for repel and getting lots of life drain. But a ring of regen would have just swung it. This guy would have survived. He would have beaten me if he'd had a ring of regeneration, and it also would have prevented most of these afflictions. I think he actually dies to a Smite Demon, but most of the damage is from Drain Life, which requires Death 4 to cast. So Kreia with Death 5 is able to cast it at half fatigue, which is very useful. Now you can see he's racked up a lot of stuff that's quite bad. Never Healing Wound, and so on. Encumbrance, I guess, doesn't matter because he's getting so much reinvigoration. He's down to 57 HP now. Back up to 62. I guess this is why I didn't give him a ring of regen. And now he's on his last legs. 9 HP, the Drain Life has finally caught up. And Anisvara casts Smite Demon and demolishes him. So that is the end of this battle. Except for this guy is still stuck up here, amusingly. And that was a lot of wolves dying to heat aura. So we looted a lot. We got a snake ring, a horror helmet, arm of knights, boots of stone. I really like the boots of stone. They cost 15 earth gems. And as usual, a whole bunch of minor pop loss events. Very annoying. Another effigy of war, which is one of the deceiving items that makes your army look bigger than it is, that we'd already forged a bunch of, which is interesting. A destroyed temple and some pop loss. Really annoying events now. A disease was ground down into a death gem with our artifact, and patrolling. So the upshot of all that is that it's very is that things have gone very well over here. But that is just Hinnom. So Hinnom, apart from Azazel the Grigori, who is going to be a tough nut to crack, but we'll have to just kill him with Leech. We also got some good raiding going on. Lots of income from these two. This is not a very important province. It's got some nice things in it though. And the next challenge is Atlantis. So Atlantis is now turning up finally. They've decided to come back. Deep Thought Plains and Augur's Peak. Now Augur's Peak, I was wrong about how many living pillars there are. There's only 159. These Battle Kings are not thugged out. And these are pretty ordinary guys. They can cast Cleansing Waters, which nukes on demons, which is pretty scary. But it's not a huge problem for us. And we're going to have a huge amount of magic cast on top of this large stack of troops. So we have more quality troops, or we have about the same number of quality troops, but ours are slightly better because they're not size 4. And we're buffing them far more than Atlantis will be able to. We've got Wailing Winds, Blood Rain, we've got a Sabbath, we've got some of the Earth buffs. We don't have enough Earth Mages to do it properly. Mass Regen, Relief, Purify Blood for the poison resistance, Foul Vapors, Will of the Fates, Mass Flight, Fog Warriors, Mists of Deception, Divine Blessing, and Anti-Magic, and Warriors of Niflheim. So yeah, we're going to completely... Actually, why am I casting Warriors of Niflheim? My Bless already has that. My Bless already has fire resistance. So I don't need to bother with that. But we could do with that, just to be on the safe side. So should be able to we will completely demolish this army, guaranteed, if it attacks us in Xibalba. The problem is that it might actually be heading towards Mandar's palace, and as you can see, we just don't have any demons there at all. We have 2 actually. So our plan there, if he goes this way, because this can crack a fort in a single turn, it'll probably crack this one in a single turn, even with 1,000 siege defense. So firstly, we're going to fly this guy in. Well, he's right next door anyway, and he can cast, with Earth Boots, he can cast Iron Walls, which will hopefully give us another turn to respond. So they go there, our army comes from here to here. We can probably catch up with them before this place gets cracked. Alternatively, we'll have a turn in which we'll be able to summon a whole bunch of demons, and I probably ought to forge another booster actually. I need to get some blood slaves from somewhere. No, I don't have any spare blood slaves. Maybe these. I really want to be able to... Actually, maybe I shouldn't summon Denavas. Denavas are very good at killing things, but we don't... They might be pretty vulnerable to living pillars. So maybe I won't summon Denavas. I'll just... I'll have a whole bunch of Raktapatas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this guy's a blood mage, so that's 6. This guy's a blood mage, so that's 7. We've got a couple more of these guys coming in. Got this guy coming in. So... And we can move in some Raktapatas. So we can do a Blood Sabbath to cast a lot of buffs in this place as well. We can do Foul Vapors and Will of the Fates and Mass Regen and Rush of Strength and Fog Warriors with all the people that we're going to be flying in. Actually, she's only Air 1. This guy's Air 3, so he can do Fog Warriors. So we should be okay here. It'll be quite hard though. If he attacks here, we'll have to spam a lot of imps and air elementals in the battle. Then we have this force. So this force doesn't have any good troops in it. It just has some mages of the deep, some unthugged basalt kings, and we can basically just run at them with this force and beat them with just these demons and Divine Blessing. It'll be enough, I'm pretty certain. And that's basically all there is to say about this turn. Something to consider is that our patrolling is just terrible. Our availability of chaff to patrol for blood hunting is just far too low. And we're casting Carrion Reanimation with this guy and some other mage somewhere on Arco's Folly. There's 200 corpses, so that should give us 200 solace for patrolling. And we're also doing Call of the Winds a bit, as you noticed. We're going to start doing some wolves, or summon animals. And we might even start doing unpatrolled blood hunting occasionally in these new lands over here. Like this place the unrush should go down passively, then we'll be able to squeeze a few blood slaves out of it. Same here, we've got some blood hunting. And we've got a bit of blood hunting going on here, although I want to ease off on the blood hunting in capital cities for the purpose of getting more gold. Speaking of which, we're doing Transmute Fire, and we're doing about 50 gems of Transmute Fire. It should get us about 1200 gold, and we'll put that towards probably just making more temples. I really like the sound of getting Dominion Strength 10. I just like that idea. It'll be useful against Niflheim maybe, although I could probably trounce Niflheim. I just don't have the spare forces for Niflheim. We can push our Dominion out a bit. That's always a nice thing to have, especially against Tirnom. Got to keep our attack skill up so that we can hit his Azazel the Grigori. But yeah, that's about the end of this turn. Nothing really more to say. We're just toddling along with our site searching, and oh yeah, we're finally sending the the 30 Earth Gems back to Mekane. And we're going to clear off these barbarians with some Wraith Lords. I really ought to clear out this province again from these barbarians, but I'm just not sure what I should do it with. And oh yeah, this fortress isn't cracked, so we have another turn. So we're going to head into this province. There's 10 demons waiting for us, and we're casting Summon Rakshasa Warriors 4 times. So we'll have about 60 demons, I think it'll add up to. And also, just to be on the safe side, I'll probably thug these guys out fully, because I've got quite a few items lingering around. I was able to take Rings of Regen off people who are cured of their diseases by the artifact, and so they don't need the rings anymore to stay alive. And that's about all there is to say for this turn. That's turn 78 for you. So see you chaps next time. Hello, hello, hello again, chaps. It's turn 79. And as you can see, our blood income is still pretty garbage. This is 34 plus 11, 45, 74, 111. So pretty terrible. But part of this is some bad luck. The times that they don't find any suitable slaves is very rare. That's a 10% chance. Although I guess we had about 20 blood slaves active, so it's not that unlucky. We reanimated a bunch of soulless. I mean, this is where the person was that cast it, but the soulless actually got reanimated into this province. So we do. I really ought to improve my blood hunting. But one thing that's going to prevent that is that this province has finally come down to 5,000. And of course, below 5,000, blood hunting is a lot less efficient. So I'm moving away one bunch of patrollers, and we're just going to have these guys left patrolling, and only one blood hunter. Because I can't really, if I kill any more, it'll go below 5,000. This place has finally recovered back above 5,000 since the Melkarts and whatever were tramping through it, eating them. This poor province, of course, is still stuck on 940, and this one's never going to get anywhere. It's on 0. But as the front line against Hinnom moves forward, we will be able to blood hunt and patrol this area a lot more safely. And of course, this area has a lot of blood huntable provinces. It's got this one, which currently has 112 unrest. It's got this one, it's got this. In fact, all of these, you've got all of these adjacent, not this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like 8. Is that 8? Wow. 7 provinces right next to each other that can be blood hunted. And this one, but that's on the front line still. So yeah, last turn we killed a whole bunch of Heliophagi and Archdevils of Hinnoms, which is good. And I also suspected, I said to you, didn't I, that Atlantis might go here and aim for this throne instead of going here. And it's a good thing they didn't go here, because of course look what faced them. So this guy was fully geared with all the usual items that he's been putting on them. So he triggered a whole bunch of gem spending. Must have been 20 or 30 gems. This might actually be a good loss for him. Very annoying. And what I realized is that if I want to defend this, it'll take me just as long going here, here, and here as it will going here, here, and here. And in the broader scheme of things, if he wants to sit around and slowly and take this province, maybe I should just let him. Another thing is that we got a second look at his army. So let's just have a look at the other battles. So this was a Raktapata with a little bit of gear, like a Vine Shield and an Armour of Knights. Very amusing to do that. This is Atlantis' main army. This is their thug. This is us just killing some barbarians with some Wraith Lords. This is just a province raid. This is us being raided over here. And something that's interesting to note is that there is 2 Bales and a Melkart here. And I had a Wraith Lord here, which I moved back here. If he'd gone here, I'm sure he would be dead, like, permanently to Soulslay or something. So I'm glad I retreated. Maybe I outplayed him by not doing that, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have just stuck here to kill the undead. Of course, Emmys could easily be astral and therefore capable of casting Soul Slay. So we do want to steer around these Amiiballs a little bit carefully. I also am telling these Wraith Lords to retreat back here and defend this province. Because of course this is quite far forward. Hinnom is right here, so can't really defend it that much. However, this province I'm deciding to summon a ghost and also move in this guy who is geared and is going to be casting some useful spells like damage reversal. I guess why am I not getting him to cast? What? I didn't script this guy to cast any buffs on himself. I'm so annoying. Anyway, something to note is that okay, so his defense skill will actually be something quite pathetic, like 24 despite all these items. Oh well. Dominion is still a bit iffy. Like there's still an enemy candle right here, and but we're getting there. We're drawing down the candles here. We've got some Dominion in here. This place is neutral because it's sea. We're going to hopefully just take this fortress and destroy this temple. You know, long term the Dominion situation is looking fairly decent for us over here. Of course, Azazel the Grigori, who is also a prophet and who will almost certainly be completely fully geared, is still lurking around here of Hinnom's. On the other hand, Hinnom probably doesn't want to lose Azazel the Grigori, and he knows that I can cast Soul Slay and Air Elementals and, not Soul Slay, Life for a Life, the blood spells. So he's probably going to be very cautious with Azazel. We shall see. Maybe he'll send Azazel down here, in which case the guys I sent there are screwed. Pan looks like Therados is the new Therados got subbed. We have a new Therados player, a new Mechoni player, and a new Pan player. It looks like Therados is attacking Pan. With these troop positions, Therados could actually attack me as well. Why does he have troops here? Yeah, so Therados might actually be attacking me, which would be very... I would be caught with my pants down at least a little bit if that happened. But if he's attacking me, I'm not sure why there's troops here. Maybe to make me think he's attacking Pan. I do find it a bit surprising, though, that he would send troops there. I don't have good scouting up here, though. Don't see any Pan troops here, so maybe Therados is attacking me. Something to note, though, is that he actually took this province off Atlantis. And there's quite a lot of troops here, so maybe he's actually planning on taking Atlantis' territory, which would be ironic because I didn't actually tell him about Atlantis sending these troops over here. Maybe Therados just has scouts everywhere sent by the original player. So yeah, Atlantis. We are now moving into a big battle with these recently summoned Rakshasa warriors. We have Mist. We're casting Mist to help against the enemy's evocations. Their cleansing water should miss a bit more because of that. We've also got these thugs. I think this guy is scripted to cast spells. Oh wow. They're both scripted to attack rear. That's pretty... if they both die... Okay, that's why I'm sending this Rakhtapata. So if these guys both attack rear and get killed by cleansing waters, this guy will still be there to command the undead troops. Not undead, demons. So that won't cause a rout if the two thugs die. So we should win this pretty easily. Niflheim is having a horrible time because if you look at these mind hunts, I killed 2 of his Wraith Lords. He was showing 3 Wraith Lords. We failed to create the Ivy King, the Crown of the Ivy King, which is annoying because it's pretty good chaff generation. And we failed to find any sites this turn with our spells. What else happened? Oh yeah, we transmuted fire. And this went towards a lot of new temples and a lot of Rakhtapata training, actually. Battles, we've already shown you them. Events, we still have diseases spreading a lot. I'm not sure why this happens every turn. I should look in the Dominions Inspector and try and figure it out. Although they're quite small, like 30, 20 population. Killed a heretic, those are always annoying. Killed a scout, that's good. We're attacking this fort to rescue it just in time, as usual. Atlantis, so we had a look from this Atlantis army, and it turns out that they have exactly 884 siege attack. Now this is an ordinary fort of ours, so they'll one-turn crack it, which is not really good enough for us. So we are casting iron walls in this province. However, we also have set up a foul vapors cast. So if he comes into this province, he will run into a huge amount of souls that you can see on the screen here, and foul vapors. And the reason why we're risking so many blood patrol chaff on that, because they will all die because they're mindless, they won't even rout, is that if you look at this army, it's I don't think it has any nature mages in it at all, and these guys are actually, they don't have let's fast forward a bit. There's the bless. So this bless doesn't have any poison resistance, which is odd because it has larger, or I guess it's a sorcery rainbow. Damn, one little bit of this bless is so suboptimal. Larger is really bad for these guys. Another thing to notice is that they are all, not all starving, but almost all of them are starving and diseased. So this poor army has really been left in the wrong province for too long. So they're really not going to be happy. And Wailing Winds could even though these guys are sacreds, because of starving, if we put up Blood Rain and Wailing Winds, they will just rout, which is pretty interesting. Anyway, they let's see. So if they stay on this fort and try to crack it next turn, I will just send over my Foul Vapors guys. Alternatively, they might... Oh, I'm an idiot, aren't I? What have I done? If they send over a single thug, my Foul Vapors won't work. If they have a single thug with a poison resist ring. Oh god. Do they? Do they have any poison resistance in this army? On the thugs. This guy doesn't have poison resistance, nor does this guy, nor does this guy, nor does this guy. Okay. So we should be okay, actually. It'll be annoying to lose to... No, that'll be fine, actually. Now, another thing to consider about Atlantis having this army here, although as it turns out I think it's very weak and we don't have to be worried, is that because they can cross rivers, it is just such a pain in the ass to follow them around. Not only can they go here, or siege this place, or siege this place, they could actually go here. And they could even wait until my army goes here, and then go here, and then it'll take my army 2 turns to get back here. So we do have to be careful. I've left another of these mages lying around because of that. But that's all there is to say about Atlantis. I'm pretty secure against them, I think. And yeah, as I said, we're training a lot more Actipatters everywhere, building more infrastructure, mainly temples, with the occasional laboratory. We're trying to set up our blood hunting in these provinces. And lastly, the magical items. So because of the diseases that are being cancelled, we do have a nice little surplus of rings of regen. And we're managing to use all of these sanguine dowsing rods, so next turn our blood hunting should be very good, actually. Possibly even the record this game. Oh no, our gold income is the record highest this game as well. So things are definitely looking up for us. The only problem, of course, is now that Pan, Mechane and Therados have new players, they should be a lot more active and motivated. So we'll see what they get up to. We're still using all of our gems. We have a shortage of air gems for armies, nature gems for armies, and also thistle maces. I had to kick myself this turn because I actually have 3 thistle maces in this army, which was totally unnecessary. So I'm sending one back on a scout to this laboratory so that I can put it on these Foul Vapors casters. I think I'm also forging another one somewhere. Astral is getting used for Mind Hunt, Earth, always useful. Water we're using, I think we alchemized a bit of it and we're using it on... we empowered a mage, did we? No, that was a different game, I think. No, we actually did empower this mage, and she's forging a robe of the sea, so we'll have a water 4 mage, and we might also summon a Sea King's Court eventually, so that would give us a water 5 mage, whatever that's good for. Air, we might eventually forge some more air boosters, just to make sure that I can keep forging them, because I actually need the air boosters in order to forge the air boosters. So if I ever lose this this guy, it would be a true tragedy. He's pretty secure, I think, though. Not easy to kill. Death, I'm tempted to splurge on some last-minute summons in this fort. I might have to do that. Oh, and actually, this trap is really vicious. It doesn't just have foul vapors, it has rigor mortis as well. So they won't... you can't really run away if you're poisoned, because you still die, but foul vapors will really do for these living pillars as well, especially since they're high encumbrance. This guy has a Sea King, or possibly 2 Sea Kings, which is pretty interesting. He also has a billion crocodiles. I have no idea. I don't know. I just don't know why that's a thing. Maybe it's an event. This province has been unraided for a long time, so we are going to send someone out by themselves to blood hunt it, and hope that Therados doesn't attack me. And that's about it. That's about it for turn 79. See you chaps next time.
Hello. Am I audible? Where's my... there it is. Right.
Hello chaps. And it's turn 80. Turn 80. In Flavour of Defeat, where we are playing Lanka, as always. So, we triple mind hunted Niflheim's remaining Wraith Lord, but he survived all 3. Therados now has Gift of Health. We failed to find anything with our sight searching. We managed to defend against this rather neatly with some province defense and the Wraith Lord. And we also killed the Camazots that turned up, hoping to claim the province thereafter. Our blood slave income, I think, was a record high, but some of these guys had to retreat and abandon their blood slaves. Because as you can see on the screen, we actually got attacked by Therados. And yes, 240 blood slaves, but we lost a few to raids. So that's the record high. Our income is something like 3,400, which is pretty good. Now, Therados raided us with these groups of 40 spectral hoplites each. And the reason I don't feel too dumb about not foreseeing this is that his movements were strange, and they looked like he was already attacking Pan and maybe Atlantis. So I thought, well, he wouldn't attack me as well. But he actually attacked Niflheim, so he's actually attacking everyone. And we narrowly... These Raktapatas died because they were scripted to attack twice and then cast Leech, so they ran into the spectral hoplites. That's where Hinnom cast the Horrors and then turned up with the Camazots, but we actually defeated the Horrors. So this is the battle over by Mashaka, the lake near Mashaka. And he didn't actually take too much casualties, in my opinion. I mean, these guys are quite expensive. So this is 1,000, 1,400 plus 900. So over 2,000 gold. It is pretty bad for him. We definitely won this. We cast Mist, which allowed his projectiles to miss. So he did a huge amount of damage, but with Regen Blood Bond we were able to regenerate it. We got 2 water bracelets, which aren't exactly useful. We stormed this fort with our entire army, which in retrospect was a bit dumb. Although we needed the fort first to load it back up with load the army back up with gems. So that's another fort against Hinnom, another enemy temple raised. We lost 4,000 people from Mashaka to Hinnom's blood vortex spell. Disease events are still happening, very annoying. I'm going to have to check why those keep happening at some point. I just can't be bothered. Jabnor's Thicket. Yeah, I'll get onto that when I show you the... That's the end of the messages. Now to show you the map. So Therados is attacking everyone except Hinnom and maybe Mekane. They're attacking Pan, Atlantis, Niflheim, and me all at the same time. Which actually makes sense. Normally you don't want to do that because then everyone retaliates and we lose. But of course, we can't go underwater. And in the meantime, Therados, which must be quite gold-starved because of its pop kill, will have got a lot of gold. This is several hundred gold just from my various little provinces that he's raided. Several hundred. Which makes a lot of difference if you're gold-starved. What else is there to say? So yeah, Therados, we are going to counter-raid. So far the only thing I've seen from Therados are these little groups of spectral hoplites. Now a spectral hoplite is not too strong. Fairly low damage, fairly, okay attack, okay damage, but they're basically just your average human soldier, except that they're ethereal and undead. And floating, all the rest of it. So, not too worried about this. Like, we're sending a Mandeja here. We're not doing that everywhere. We're sending... I'm not sure why I'm doing that. Oh well. Too late to change the turn now. The next one's already rolled. We're sending... But I haven't looked at it yet. We're sending this Wraithlord with Control the Dead. I've never tried Control the Dead. We'll see if it works well or not. Who else are we sending here? We're sending some animals and some fire elementals and some Horde of Skeletons casts here. We're not reclaiming this one right now. Not reclaiming this one right now. This place we defended successfully and we're going to keep on defending it. Looks like we're not planning on reclaiming this province. Or this one, oddly. I'm not sure why I did that. Oh well. So that's all there is to say about Therados' raiding. It's just a bunch of spectral hoplites, basic undead ethereal chaff. So we'll see what happens with that. We also cast Iron Walls here, so maybe I should have used a bigger overcast in retrospect, because it'll only last 12 months, but maybe that'll be good enough. So Niflheim's basically neutered at this point. Pan is not attacking me, like I said. They're probably also fighting Therados now. Hinnom. So we are moving against Hinnom here. Now I don't see any Hinnom forces except a couple of thugs and long dead and mages over here, and some horror casts. And here though, he has Azazel the Grigori and an Archdevil, and some Woodhenge Druids, but mainly Azazel the Grigori. Now that is a very, very powerful guy. I mentioned this in a previous video, where we also noticed that he'd been prophetized. But I'm going to just load up the Dominion's Mod Inspector in my browser real quick, and have a look. Azazel. Oh, come on. So he's Fire 3, Earth 2, Astral 4, Blood 5, and Holy 4. 88 hit points, size 6, 14 base protection, 18 magic resistance, 30 morale, 175 leadership, which is kind of interesting. Bit of the other two leaderships as well. 21 strength. And because he has the first sword, now the first sword is length 2, 1 attack per turn, 21 damage, piercing, slashing, magic damage, two-handed weapon, but it has plus 7 attack and defense skill, so he might leave that on him. I'm sure every other slot will get filled, but he's got 23 defense skill and 17 attack skill. And bear in mind that my attack and defense skill is lowered by being in order scales, so we probably can't kill him in melee at all. He has resist fire, resist poison, resist shock, all at 15, actually 20 for fire. He's stealthy plus 60, has 15 fear, 35 invulnerability, wow, and damage reversal plus 2, which is very good. He's also got some ability called Capture Commander, Corruption, Morale versus 1. I'm not sure what that means. But anyway, this is a very dangerous guy, and the only way we can fight him is with Drain Life and Leech and Life for a Life, and a couple of other similar spells that do not have magic resistance checks. We can't even fight him... Does he have... Wait a sec, did I close that browser yet? So he has resist shock 15, so we can't even use air elementals against him. Very, very strong. Probably can't even counter thug against him, except in my own Thermal 3 scales or in High Unrest. So really the only question against Hinnom right now is, can I fight his Azazel the Grigori? Now against Lanka we won this battle, but he still has some forces left over. Over here he has, rather confusingly, retreated. He didn't attack me here, which was wise, of course, because we had foul vapors. He's left some troops here. Now, I don't know if he decided to only leave 20 there, or if that's because of our spell. We cast Beckoning. Our Pretender cast Beckoning, and we lured 51 of his troops away, so that may have been quite a good show. I think half of these troops are living pillars. So getting rid of 20 living pillars at least is pretty good. And maybe he was planning on sieging down this fort, and maybe because of that... actually, maybe these living pillars are left here. I didn't realise this. Maybe they're left here because their commander got seduced by Beckoning. I'm not sure if it probably does work on commanders. And if they'd stayed behind, they'd have breached the fort, or maybe they were trying to all retreat because they were starving and diseased and he saw too much opposition or something. I'm not sure why. But that is turn 80. Not too much more to say. Oh, and we forged an artifact as usual. I wonder what one it was. We're calling a Wraith Lord, forging a Dragon Helmet. We're going to put Dragon Helmets... Well, Dragon Helmets do two things. They protect our commanders who've suffered our mages who've suffered the Battle Fright injury, so that they're less likely to rout. And of course they also protect non-sacred commanders from being burned by our Heators. So they're quite useful. We're casting 3 red seconds on this province. I don't expect it to be attacked in a ritual, so it should be safe. And it'll be nice to have it for any future war against Pan. It's also a valuable province. That'll also allow us to site search this province. I am definitely forging an artifact. I just can't remember which one it was now. Where is our artifact forge? Still collecting some death gems from this artifact and this artifact. Pretty nice. What artifact? Oh, and I'm forging some armour of knights over here because I realised my little armoury over here was definitely low on chest pieces. Come on, where the hell is this artifact? It was something kind of interesting too. I think it was the... Ah yes, it was the... Oh, it was over here that... No? In this province, yes. The Crown of the Frost King. Now, the Crown of the Frost King gives you 2 ice elementals as revenue. But it also gives you Chill 25. And for example, Azazel does not have cold resistance. So maybe we could use it against him to freeze him, but we'll probably just have to rely on blowing Azazel up with Life for a Life and Drain Life. Now the thing about Life for a Life is that you can only script it really when you have a Heat or a Bless, because your Blood Slaves may burn to death before then, by the time things go off script. Or they may die or whatever. And if you script Life for a Life, it may get wasted on Ogres and similar high HP enemies, if they're higher than Azazel's 88 HP. Now, he's not actually summoning Ogres, he probably doesn't have the ability to do so, I suspect. But, it's something to consider. So, Drain Life, the Death spell, the Death Force spell that doesn't require gems or blood slaves, that can always be cast off script because of the lack of any cost to it. So it's nice to have these two, this Death 4 guy and this Death 5 hero. And we're also bringing some replacement gems along on our Stealth Scout. All of these guys are moving in because they are assassin bait. Although our actual commanders, a lot of them are very resistant to assassins because they have this kind of thing going on. But that's turn 80. I'm feeling pretty confident. I am now at war with all of my neighbours except Pan. I hope that Pan continues to be at peace with me. And I hope this 3 red seconds cast doesn't go horribly wrong. We shall find out. See you chaps next time. Hello, hello, hello chaps. It's turn 81. Our gold has slightly decreased. Our blood income is at 41, 61, 92, 101, 110, 141. So that's pretty mediocre by this game's standards so far. This Citadel of Power went up.
Well, that's nice. These crocodiles, man, these crocodiles. Called another Wraith Lord, that's good. We killed Niflheim's last Wraith Lord. We lost an Atavi chieftain to a Mind Hunt, which is amusing. We Cloud trapezed into here and killed one of these raiding groups. No great victory, these aren't high value troops. But at least we get the province back and some death gems. Pan geared up their pretenders. Now this is quite amusing, so let's watch this. I never thought I'd see fully geared crones with 17 HP and like she's blind. A lightning spear with, you need a frost brand. You need a brand when you're blind because the AoE always hits even if you miss the target. This is so random. I guess it can summon a lot of air elementals. Not sure about the lightning spear though. Oh, this one's blind as well, of course. I didn't know they lost both eyes though. That's interesting. Man, this is a feeble. What a waste of gems. So you're just going to see a whole bunch of elementals get spammed. Elementals aren't really strong against ethereal troops, but they're good enough. That's quite enough ear rape for today. And amusingly, I managed to bring enough forces here, just barely, to defeat this force. And the Raksharaja was actually moving out of the province, but the attack, his ritual phase, so it came before he moved. So we won. And this must cost a fair amount of blood slaves. I don't know how much really. This is our blood slave income. This is just a researcher who got horror marked by lightless lanterns and imps. Just a lightless lantern. This is an embarrassment. We actually lost that. How annoying. So Xibalba, Atlantis' force actually attacked me in Xibalba. So they were outnumbered, they were vastly lower quality, and they got trounced. Unfortunately, we had people, I think they're set to attack closest, so a lot of these mages, quite a few of the mages escaped, which is quite unfortunate. But, and I don't want to cloud trapeze Raksharajas on top of them, because cleansing waters could kill a lone foe. And I think I cast Wailing Winds in this battle. I'm not sure if I actually cast everything, but I cast most things. I cast a few things anyway. I think I also burned... Yeah, this guy burned alive because I was too lazy in his location. I think he actually failed to cast any spells. So this is a total waste of nature gems here, and a thistle. Anyway, they just get completely annihilated. Wailing Winds against a starving army just destroys them. So we got our Thistle Mace back at least, and we found some water bracelets. So I think we've put paid to Atlantean attacks for the time being. This Great Hawk that we sent in, I'm not sure why I did it, but actually it was all pre-planned. So we managed to scout this golem. This golem, its gear isn't particularly remarkable, except that it has a Scutata Volturnis, which is the Shocking Grasp shield. So we need a copper plate thug to deal with this guy. This was an easy province defense. This was also an easy province defense. So it's good to see that our single Wraith Lord can deal with that. We allowed our Jade Sorceress to die, which is annoying. I think she burned again to the Heat Aura. So Heat Aura is still annoying us. Heaven's Gate. I think is that the province with the throne? And this is not terribly interesting. That's kind of interesting that they're using devils and imps. But this is the province that's right over into Hinom's territory, so it doesn't matter. This is an ordinary raiding group, but he did get a lot of info on what I have here, so that's annoying. Lost a couple more Raktapatas, so that's annoying. And I think more of us routed as well. But they routed successfully. It's a shame to lose all these Black Hawks, but man, 1 kill. But at least we still won in the end. And we recovered the items mostly as well. Quite embarrassing overall though. Sage has joined, disease is spreading, constant darkness, units have been healed. Got some more death gems from our artifacts, and another Wraith Lord bit the dust only to return. So we're getting invaded by 2 serious forces of Theranos. One is this, which is a lot of Spectrals, actually several serious forces from Theranos. So this force, who am I sending here? I'm sending Chad in here alone to thug in this province. Why am I doing that? He only has 13 magic resistance. What am I thinking? Oh well, it could turn out well. We'll see how this turns out. It should be pretty amusing. So yeah, a lot of Spectral Peltasts with a Hecatari. We're patrolling this place with a couple of Air Elementals and some Solos. So that's probably going to end in disaster. I really didn't think this turned through very much. Oh well. This ball of Therodian forces I'm going to Mind Hunt. And what the Mind Hunt should do is, of course, it should kill a few of the commanders. So that should cripple the ability of this force to move around. One of the small raiding forces is besieging me here because I fucked up with my defense. But I'm breaking siege with some banishment, so we'll see if that works. And I'm also moving here because it's the only way to protect these Great Hawks. Although actually the Great Hawks don't have any monkeys with them to save them. And then the last raiding group is this one, where they have a Telkeen, and where I haven't bothered to script poison resistance on my army. The good news is that the next turn has rolled. I haven't looked at it yet, but Theranos and Niflheim both staled. So that's going to be really annoying for Theranos to stale at this point in the game. I think I also cast Flame from the Skies, Fires from Afar. I don't have Flames from the Sky yet. Fires from Afar on this place. Spectral Hoplites have 0 protection, and Fires from Afar is a magical, so they will die like anything. So while I have Fires from Afar to cast, I think I can stop Theranos besieging me at range using that, which is a very powerful ability. Also, I'm sending this guy around with some move patrolling, summon a fire elemental, and then retreat stuff. And then retreat? The fire elemental won't have any leadership for it. Oh well. And I'm storming this castle, so I should have had a very interesting battle against Azazel Grigori if he's actually defending this, which he may not be. Also, we'll see what Hinom does over here, because I am sending in these 2 guys. So I saw a couple of Melkarts here, and maybe these guys with some leech casts can actually destroy these Melkarts, because I ramped up the defense, the PD to 20. So we'll see what happens. That's about it for this turn. So Atlantis has been demolished, really, and Niflheim has lost his Wraith Lord, so he only has occasional things like the Jotun Werewolf. And he's also getting raided a bit by Theranos. So Niflheim's kind of gone, Atlantis is kind of gone, Han is still a threat, but they're being attacked by Theranos, so hopefully they won't attack me. Also I managed to get this fort up, which will be useful in future. Hinom is the real deal right now. The question is, what happens in next turn's battle against Azazel the Prophetized Grigori? Maybe we shall find out, or maybe Azazel is being a dickhead and flying around in my territory raiding me. That's also something we might find out. Anyway, that was turn 81. See you chaps next.